This episode of Black Girls Need Love Too, a healing podcast, is brought to you by SM Media Enterprise. Visit www.smmediaent.com to see how SM Media Enterprise can help you grow your business.
I do not love my body. I have a love-hate relationship with the way I look, and I am constantly battling myself to feel okay in my own skin. Growing up, I was always super skinny, and I was always criticized for being super skinny. And on top of that criticism, I was also shown, like every other little girl growing up, the quote-unquote ideal standard of beauty. Those two dynamics created something catastrophic in my mind. On one hand, I didn't want to be so skinny so I wouldn't be criticized about it. On the other hand, I didn't want to get any bigger because I wanted to live up to that ideal standard of beauty. That constant turmoil in my mind created some really unhealthy habits for me, and I'm still dealing with the effects of those today. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about body image and what we can do to love and honor our bodies and the struggles that we all go through with learning to accept who we are and the way we look and the way the world sees us. This is Black Girls Need Love Too, a healing podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of Black Girls Need Love Too, a healing podcast. Before we jump into this week's episode, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has listened to the podcast so far, who has shared it, who has told their friends about it. I'm super excited about the response that I've been getting. Like I said in last week's episode, I wasn't sure what was going to come of this, and I wasn't expecting anything magnificent, but the response I've been getting is amazing, and I'm super excited that you all are enjoying it and that you all are seeing my vision and that my journey can help your journey. So, yay! Thank you guys so much. Also, I hope you guys had a chance to participate in last week's charge, which was to write a letter to a friend. I hope that process brought you some healing and maybe opened up some conversations with some friends that you may have closed the door to. I am writing my letter as we speak after I record this episode, and I am going to keep you guys posted with what comes of that, just so you can get the full journey of what happens when you put yourself out there and you allow yourself to be vulnerable and apologize. So stay tuned. I'll make sure I update you guys as the season goes along and as that process goes along as well. Okay, so let's jump into this week's episode. So this week we are going to talk about love for our bodies and what we can do to honor our bodies and just some of those feelings that we all have gone through around our bodies. Nobody is perfect. We all have things that we don't like about our bodies. We all have things that we wish we could change. And we're just going to have a conversation about that today and open up the floor for some healing in that area. So I talked to Kelli Johnson about her struggles and her journey loving herself and what she has learned through her life and through her journey and what she does to honor her body and to love herself even more. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, and I will touch base with you in a few. Enjoy. Welcome Kelli to the show. Kelli, thank you for coming on and talk to me about body image.
It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited.
I am too. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Kelli. I'm from the Bronx, New York. In my spare time, I'm also a podcaster. But, I'm just out here living my life.
Living life. Okay, awesome. When you think of your body, what words or feelings come to mind?
I think now I use a lot of technical terms, or actual terms that you can see, I am short and I am squat or chubby or chunky. That's actually my Twitter name. It's Chunky Brewster. I'm I'm chunky. So yeah, I use like words like that because I'm like, you know, a little bit heavier than the average person, but not really.
Okay, so what feelings come to mind when you think about your body? I know you talked about words, but what feelings come to mind?
It's the only body that I have, so now I'm like super into like, I mean, like I've always done like things where I like go to the doctor and like, you know, take care of my skin and stuff like that. But now it's just like a body image issue, I guess. If I had any, they would be like body image issues. But I guess it's just like home. Like I feel warm when I think about like myself because like I'm so now like self-embracing of myself.
Right. So when did that come about? When did you start feeling that, let me embrace myself?
Very recently, actually. I wouldn't say like in the past like maybe 3 or 4 years. I was like, you know, I guess as a teenager, I was always like, you know, I want to look this way. And I was always like, I wanted huge boobs when I was a teenager. And
Same.
then
I have nothing.
girl, this is like like, and now I have them and I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
That's what everyone says.
When I was in college, I just sort of like lived like the college lifestyle of like eating and like whatever. So I got like the freshman 15, but then I was like working at camp too, and I was like, you know, active. So I didn't really, you know, have any like weight or image issues. I was kind of just like, this is how I am. And then, you know, I guess I mean, I'm 30 now and I've been at my job for like 7 years. So for the past like 7 years, I've grown into an increasingly like sedentary lifestyle. And I'm like, oh, okay, you've put some weight on. And like, because of that, like when I was younger or thinner, it was easier to hide where it was like, oh, you know, I'm going to, you know, I can always wear like Spanx or like, I mean, I can wear Spanx now, but I can wear Spanx or like dark clothes or just like a pair of jeans that's like just like a half size bigger or something like you could, or like a hoodie or something to like, you know, if you're feeling kind of bloated or something. Or especially like if you're like naked, you can kind of just be like, oh, I can like suck it in or something like that. And like now I can't do that. It's like if you see me or if I see myself like in the mirror, I'm like, this is what I have. Like I can't hide, you know, that I'm like that I've gained weight or anything like that. So once I came to terms with the fact that I can't hide it, I can just like embrace it and like be healthy or just sit and like watch my life pass me by and live in like this one thing. That was when I was like, oh, you just kind of have to like accept it. It's not like it's one thing that defines me. It's, you know, just the way that I appear in the world and the way that I exist in the world.
Right. So I know a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum, on both the thin and the heavier side of the spectrum, have issues with people just like criticizing them and heavily saying like you should be a certain way. What have you done to deal with that type of criticism or people saying like this is what you should do and you shouldn't be like this and stuff like that?
I think in my family, I would normally say like in like this community and like the African American community, there's like this strong culture of like, you know, moms and aunties and, you know, cousins and older grandmas and older generations of people who are like the first thing that they comment on about you when they see you is your weight. And I think that is like absolutely horrible and it has to be stopped because then it takes so long to get out of that. And I guess now that I'm just like, this is how I am, I kind of just like make snarky comments back to them. Yeah, like I'll say completely inappropriate things to people. And I'm just like, you know, whatever. And of course it raises eyebrows and it gets me in trouble. But I'm like, you fix your mouth to say that and then expect me not to say anything back, especially if you're saying that I'm being unhealthy, but you're like passing me down another piece of pie. Like I'm not like unhealthy or anything like that. Like I eat pretty well. Actually, I had dessert today. But like other than that, like, you know, I eat pretty well. So it's like, don't criticize me. Like put some Windex on that mirror. Before you talk about me, assess what you have going on. And then you can come talk to me about what I need to work on.
Absolutely. And I think it goes both ways too, because I'm on the thinner side and I've always been thin. My metabolism has always been super, super high. but I've always, like, especially now after having my daughter and just not exercising as much as I used to, like, I'm putting on weight, and I won't say I'm putting on a lot of weight, but it's weight for me. It's weight for my size. So I always get, oh my gosh, you're so thin and you don't need to work out. And I'm like, okay, I might look thin to you, but I am not the same size I was in high school. So for you to continue to be like, hey, you're super, super thin, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, oh my gosh, your body has changed so much. Like,
Yeah.
that people don't understand that everyone goes through a different ideal with their bodies. They go through a different, we see something that you don't see.
Yeah, especially I think like because like I don't have children, but it's also like at an age, it's like an age marker thing where you feel like, you know, like your ideal weight or size was like what you looked like when you were in high school or what you looked like when you were in college. And it's sort of just like makes you come to grips with like the fact that you're getting older and you're saying goodbye to your maidenhood and like your youth when you gain weight, or you know, like you're losing your looks.
Right.
And unfortunately it's a society thing where, you know, your looks are what's going to get you by and what's going to get you through, and that's where they place values, that you have to look a certain way in order to, you know, and that's horrible.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's horrible that society places so much attention on looks that you can't even focus on like the internal stuff when you're getting older and what's happening with your body. Like, my body has done so much crazy stuff as I'm getting older, and I'm like, what is this? This is a new bump. This is a new sound. What is this going on? And
yeah, and then it's just like, oh, is this just a problem that I have now that I'm old? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well.
It's a totally new ball game, but I can't even focus on getting comfortable with what's going on internally because I'm so focused on external.
Right.
Crazy business out here in society. So what do you do to take care of your body, and what do you do to honor your body?
I guess, see, I don't know. I sometimes feel like maybe I just don't take care of my body as well as I should. I'm definitely like super into skincare. Like, I'm really into skincare. Like, actually, before we got on this, I was like doing a face mask, and I was like, oh, I'll do some like eye gels because I'm going to be up and like whatever.
Right.
So I'll definitely like do skincare and like, I don't know, like deep condition my hair. I feel like that's an act of self-love for me.
Yeah.
Because like I don't have natural hair. I still relax my hair, which is a whole other set of issues. But when I like deep condition my hair and like I take the time to like comb it and like put the conditioner on and like sit and like be still and like, you know, I definitely take, you know, silent time to do that. I don't use, actually, as far as skincare goes, I don't use any scented products because they just aggravate me. Yeah. It's like terrible. I try to eat as well as I possibly can. I definitely have now, since I've gained like weight, or like since my mid-20s, I have a better understanding or a better relationship with food, because growing up we just ate whatever was put in front of us. It wasn't like, oh, here's a vegetable, here's, you know, a protein, here's your carbs, here's, you know, all of this. Like, I drank soda, and now there are kids who are like, no, I don't drink soda, and I'm like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how it is. I drank pop all the time growing up, but my daughter has not had one lick of it.
Yeah, see, and that's like crazy to me because I'm like, oh, wait, like trans fats was a thing when I was a kid, and now like you can't even have trans fats. And then like even now, like I'll try to drink as much water as I can. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I want a can of Coke. I just want a can of Coke. Yeah. So, and that's actually like my vice. It's like a can of Coke. But before, it used to be like, I would drink Snapple, I would drink soda, I would drink like Powerade, Gatorade, all that stuff, and I would never drink water. So now I definitely try to like drink water and eat vegetables. And I think now my body like knows. Like last week I was just like, oh, I feel terrible. And I was like, oh, well, you haven't had vegetables in 4 days. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, you know, making sure that I maintain a good relationship with food and only indulging, you know, every so often, and not to like mindlessly snack and stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. What would you tell people who are struggling with loving their bodies?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I think I would tell them that it's a process to love your body. And it's not going to come right away, but it's definitely the only body that you have. Mm-hmm. So you can love it or not, but it would be a lot easier if you just, accepted that this is how you exist in the world. And if it's like, a serious problem, like if someone was like super morbidly obese, and I'm like, as someone who like religiously watches my 600-pound life, if someone wants to be better, but do it for you, like do it for the right reasons. Right. Don't do it because you want to look like an IG baddie. Like, don't do that.
Right. Because they Photoshop the heck out of those pictures.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, oh, like, you don't really look like that.
I don't think so, like...
And like, I'll definitely joke about it. Like, my cousins and I'll joke about it. We're like, oh, when I make, when I hit the lotto, because like the Powerball was like just like super like crazy, big. Like, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, when I get the lotto, I was like, I'm gonna get Hollywood teeth, I'm gonna get a tummy tuck, I'm gonna get a butt lift. You can't even talk to me. Like, we'll like make fun of it, and like, I mean, I don't know if I would do it. Like, I probably wouldn't because I'm a coward. But I'm like, well,
yeah.
It's like getting a cavity filled at this point. Everyone does
Pretty
it. So
much, yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts about the topic? Any closing thoughts?
I do have a closing thought for people everywhere, but mostly people on the upper end of the weight spectrum. We may have some like body issues. Wear shorts. Wear shorts. I know for a long time, I always felt so uncomfortable to wear shorts. Like, I would walk around in the middle of summer, 90 degrees, in like jeans and leggings and all of this because I felt so uncomfortable. And I didn't want people to be like, oh, she has cellulite and all this. Wear shorts. Juicy J does not give a damn about my cellulite. Mind your business.
Absolutely.
And then that's it. That's my final thought.
I love it. No, I love it. I love it. Awesome. Go ahead and do your social media handles and where people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at __ Kelli, Kelli, __ super profesh. And then you can find me on Twitter at Purely Genius, and or you can find me on Twitter at Kelli _out_lab.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I really had a good time talking with Kelli about how we feel about our bodies and how we navigate this space between love and hate. It was interesting to hear about her journey to loving herself and what she does now to keep that self-love flowing. I think the key takeaway from that conversation was that loving yourself is a process and that you're never going to always be at 100%, and that loving yourself, especially your body, takes time, takes practice, takes motivation, takes pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And stepping outside of your comfort zone is kind of where we're going to focus our challenge and our affirmation this week on. It's time for a weekly charge and affirmation. Just a quick reminder, each week I'll give us a charge or a challenge that will push us outside of our comfort zone and open up the space for healing. I'll also give us an affirmation that we can say to ourselves over and over throughout the week that will help foster that self-love within us. This week's charge is to spend some time with yourself in the mirror. Make sure you have no interruptions, light some candles, turn on some music, drop your clothes, and just look. Admire every single part of you. Learn your curves, learn your bumps, learn your bruises, learn your scars. Just look at yourself and admire yourself. While doing this, notice the things that you may wince at, or notice the things that you may not like or that you may start to criticize. And when those criticizing thoughts come up, check them and redirect them. So, for example, you might think, oh, my nose is too big. Stop that thought and redirect it into something positive. My nose is the perfect size for my face. Spend about 30 to 40 minutes doing this, and try and make a habit of doing this once a week or even daily. This will start to foster self-love and help you appreciate all of your flaws. Now for our affirmation. I am uniquely me, and I love every part. I am uniquely me, and I love every part. I am uniquely me, and I love every part.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope this conversation sparked something on your path to healing. I'd love to hear your feedback and your story, so if you'd like to comment on today's topic or share your story with us, there are a few ways you can do so. 1, you can join our Facebook group at BGNL2 group. 2, you can leave us a voicemail by calling 858-413-7388. Or 3, you can send us an email to podcast@smmediaent.com. Also, remember to subscribe and review us on iTunes and follow us on Spotify. Remember, the first step of healing is starting the conversation. I wish you nothing but peace and positivity this week. Talk to you soon. One love.